Dear old work platform, it's not you, it's us. Actually, it is you. Endless onboarding? Constant IT bottlenecks? We've had enough. We need a platform that just gets us. And to be honest, we've met someone new. They're called Monday.com, and it was love at first onboarding. Their beautiful dashboards, their customizable workflows got us floating on a digital cloud 9. So no hard feelings, but we're moving on. Monday.com, the first work platform you'll love to use.
On today's Smart 7, Ukraine sidelined as Russia and US meet, 75 passengers escape Toronto plane crash, and much more. It's Wednesday, 19th of February, it's Tug of War Day, and happy birthday, Chapel Roan.
The Smart 7. It's news, but not the news.
Tuesday saw the first round of talks between Russia and the United States in Saudi Arabia, as both countries appeared keen to reset their relationship and pledged to continue high-level discussions on topics including the war in Ukraine. It's a remarkable turnaround 3 years after Russia invaded its neighbour, and even as the talks were going on, air raid sirens were sounding in Kyiv. Russia has made no concessions and showed no sign of making any, as the American Secretary of State explained that his boss wants a deal and denied any suggestion that Ukraine had been refused a seat at the table.
No one is being sidelined here, but President Trump is in a position that he campaigned on to initiate a process that could bring about an end to this conflict. And from that could emerge some very positive things for the United States, for Europe, for Ukraine, for the world.
The prospect of Russia and the US agreeing any deal without Ukrainian involvement has horrified European allies. Russian Foreign Secretary Lavrov flatly rejected a proposal that there should be a pause in attacks on energy infrastructure, claiming that Russia has never attacked civilian power plants in Ukraine. Ukrainian MP Kira Rudik is deeply pessimistic about where these talks will lead.
You would not find a solution in talks with Russia. We have been in these talks and negotiations since 2014. There was not a single day when Russia honored their part of the deal.
In the aftermath of the Saudi Arabia summit between Russia and the US, European leaders are set to meet again in Paris on Wednesday. Ukrainian President Zelensky was sounding increasingly frustrated on Tuesday as he returned from a visit to Turkey and cancelled a proposed trip to Riyadh. There have been reports that Russia is floating the idea of US troop withdrawals from the Baltic states, and UK Defence Secretary John Healey says it's time for European allies to think differently.
We're in a new era of threat, and that demands a new era for defence. This government was elected on a mandate in one word: change. And as a new government, we're delivering for defence over these first 7 months.
Lib Dem Deputy Leader Daisy Cooper says that while it's important to consider defence spending in the light of the new Trump approach to Russia, any plan that involves cutting public services is a non-starter.
We've said time and again there are other ways of doing this. If you reverse the tax cuts on the big banks, that would raise $4 billion a year. You could increase taxes on the big tech companies and the big gaming companies. That could raise a few billion as well.
2025 has not been a great year if you're a nervous flyer. Tuesday saw another air crash in North America. That's the fourth since January, and this one took place in Toronto. An incoming Delta flight from Minneapolis crashed, burst into flames and flipped over while landing at the Canadian airport. Miraculously, no one was killed and all 75 passengers and crew were evacuated safely. 18 people were taken to hospital, and what exactly happened remains a mystery as the runway was dry and there were no crosswinds at the time of the crash. Deborah Flint, the president of Pearson Airport, spoke after the incident and praised emergency services for their quick and effective response.
We are very grateful that there was no loss of life and relatively minor injuries. We are very focused on the care and the concern and the passengers and the crew, some of whom have already been reunified with their friends and their families. Others we have in a comfortable place right here at the airport in an environment where they're getting a lot of care and support from my staff.
If you've been quietly grumbling away to yourself about oncoming cars' dazzling headlights this winter, you may be relieved to hear you're not alone. In fact, a new study from the RAC shows that almost a quarter of motorists have cut back on nighttime driving because they find headlights too bright. Younger drivers are most annoyed by it, as are drivers of sedans and smaller cars who face oncoming SUVs. Transport Secretary Heidi Alexander says the government has also commissioned research on the topic and agrees that the blinding lights have become a real hazard.
I do accept that actually, being able to see on the roads is absolutely critical for road safety. This government is also working on a new road safety strategy, and so getting the basics right on our roads is really important.
Still to come on today's Smart 7, Heartbreak for Celtic and the Mobos light up Newcastle. Right after this.
Work management platforms. Ugh. Endless onboarding, IT bottlenecks, admin requests. But what if things were different?
We found love in an open space.
Monday.com is different. No lengthy onboarding. Beautiful reports in minutes. Custom workflows you can build on your own. Easy to use prompt-free AI. Huh. Turns out you can love a work management platform. Monday.com, the first work platform you'll love to use.
Welcome back. This week sees the second leg of the Champions League knockout stages as 16 teams go down to 8 for the next round. Celtic nearly pulled off a miracle after a 2-1 home loss last week, but a last-minute Bayern Munich goal saw the Scottish club knocked out. Wednesday sees Man City facing Real Madrid in Spain after a 3-2 home loss for Pep's side. There's also Premier League action on Wednesday as Liverpool travel to face Aston Villa. Liverpool are 7 points clear at the top of the table, but Villa have a new not-so-secret weapon in on loan Marcus Rashford, and Liverpool manager Arne Slot sounds like he's looking forward to seeing the striker in action.
The first time I faced him was in the USA tour, and I was impressed. I was really impressed how fast he is, how he has a nice height. So I think he's a very good player. I hope for him as well that he's going to show that at Villa.
The Mobo Awards took place in Newcastle on Tuesday night, celebrating the best in black music and culture. Rapper Central C made history as he was named Best Male Act for the third time, and he's now tied with Stormzy as the most awarded rap act. The Mobos is more than just music these days, with Louis Anderson picking up the best performance in a film or TV show for his role in Interview with a Vampire. And Bashi won Best Album and Best Hip Hop Act after taking 15 years away from music. There was also a special award for founder Kanya King after her recent cancer diagnosis.
For nearly 3 decades, I put everything on the line to build this platform. Mobo was never just about music, it was about justice, it was about recognition, it was about changing an industry that once refused to see us.
The mixtape has become a lost art in a world of Spotify and streaming services, but a new movie from Captain Marvel writers and directors Anna Boden and Ryan Fleck is trying to make the mixtape cool all over again. Their movie Freaky Tales is set in Oakland, California in 1987, and we follow 4 different stories which are mixed together. It's a genre-bending movie that has comedy, action and a great soundtrack, along with a cast that includes Pedro Pascal, Ben Mendelsohn and singer Normani in her acting debut. It hits cinemas in April.
Yesterday was the last job. I did it. I'm done. You're done when we say you're done. F*** you.
You've been listening to The Smart 7. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Hit that follow button and have a great day. Give us 7 minutes and we'll give you the world.
Applebee's has a brand new Big Easy menu. It features all your Bourbon Street favorites in one new menu. Plus a new Bourbon Street chicken and andouille sausage penne starting at just $11.99.
Limited time price, participation, and selection may vary.